name's Jenna and I watched 18 movies in October. Yep, 18. Okay, so, wow. That sounds really bad when you say it all like that. I literally watched 18 movies in the month of October. Okay, alright. So, we're just gonna jump straight into the movies that I watched because obviously there are a lot of them. I also watched 3 TV shows, so, well, technically I watched 2 TV shows. That is a lot of movies and television to watch in 1 month. Alright, we're just gonna get started. So, the reason why I watched 18 movies this month is 8 of them were part of a movie marathon that I attended. So I went to my local cinema, well, it wasn't really a local cinema, but I went to a cinema and they had all 8 Harry Potter movies on back to back in a 24-hour period. And you can bet your ass that I went and I watched them and I stayed awake the entire 24 hours. Holla! I did nearly fall asleep a couple of times, mainly during like movies 6 and 7 because they're a little bit, you know, snore-worthy. But for the most part, I stayed awake the whole time. I was so proud of myself. So I gave the Harry Potter-thon 5 out of 5 stars overall just because it was incredibly fun and just I loved it. It was Harry Potter in 24. It was so emotionally compromising though. Okay, I don't think you understand. Like, I cried so much. By the time we got to the 8th film, I was like a sobbing mess because you know when you get like really tired, you also get overly emotional. Yeah, so that was happening. The entire audience, oh man, we clapped at the start and end of every single film. There were like moments during the movies where we clapped and stuff as well. We all like cheered Cedric when he came on screen. We all booed Umbridge the first time she came on screen. Oh my god, that was like the best thing. I was just expecting someone like throw popcorn at the screen because you all know how much we hate Umbridge. But with all that audience participation, 10 out of 10 would recommend. If your local cinema ever does something like that, would recommend going because watching Harry Potter with dedicated fans such as that is just the best thing ever. So like I said, I gave 5 out of 5 stars to all of the movies altogether, but I gave each individual movie a rating as well. So Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, I gave 5 out of 5 stars. Chamber of Secrets, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Prisoner of Azkaban, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Goblet of Fire, I gave 5 out of 5 stars. Order of the Phoenix, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Half-Blood Prince, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Deathly Hallows Part 1, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. And Deathly Hallows Part 2, I gave 5 out of 5 stars. Out of all those movies, my favorite movie is probably Chamber of Secrets, even though I only gave it 4 stars. Chamber of Secrets is just the last time they're all kind of happy and young. And then we get to number 3 and it just changes everything. Like the look of Hogwarts changes, their uniform, just everything changes in number 3. And while I do enjoy number 3, I like number 2 better. Alright, next up I watched Ripley's Game, which I watched for my crime fiction and film class, and I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. While I thought the story was very intriguing and the film itself was really well shot, I found that I didn't particularly like pay attention the whole time. I kept reading fanfiction because it just couldn't like capture my attention the way that it wanted to. So I did enjoy it, but I couldn't actually tell you what it was about because I don't remember. Next up, I watched my first Halloweenish movie for the month because I don't know if you all know this about me. I don't really like scary movies at all, alright? You know the scary movies, like the parodies of scary movies? I get scared at those movies, so I very clearly didn't watch many scary movies this month. But one of the ones I did watch, I watched Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and I have to say there were a few like jumpstart moments, but honestly it was kind of a really enjoyable movie. Like, I mean, I didn't love the film, but I also didn't hate the movie. Like, I enjoyed watching it. It was stupid, it was funny, it was not trying to take itself too seriously, and for that reason I really enjoyed it, and I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. Also, I can now say that I know the story of Pride and Prejudice because I didn't know it before and I totally do now. Then I watched Only Yesterday for my film class. Now this film is a Studio Ghibli movie, but it's one that's based on like kind of aimed at females, and I found it kind of a little bit offensive in places and really boring. I only gave it 2 out of 5 stars. It just was not that great. Like for a Studio Ghibli film, which, you know, I've seen a couple of them and they've been amazing, this one really wasn't. It basically followed this girl, followed her as a child and then as an adult trying to figure out, you know, who she was in life, that sort of thing, and I found it really boring and kind of hella confusing, so wasn't the biggest fan. Then, if any of you follow me on Twitter, you might remember that for my crime fiction and film class, I had to watch The Silence of the Lambs. I'm not actually rating this film because I found it entirely too disturbing to enjoy. Like, I felt physically ill watching it. I did not find it enjoyable in the slightest, but I can see why people think it's a really well done film. Like, it was shot really well and the characters were really well like fleshed out and everything, but it was just too disturbing for me to enjoy. Like, I don't enjoy watching movies where the criminal is that mentally disturbed. Like, I just don't like it at all. And yeah, if you read those tweets, you'd understand that I was just not a fan. So I'm not rating that one, and we're just gonna move on because I'm already feeling uncomfortable talking about it. Next up, I watched another film for my film class. It wasn't like a compulsory film, it's one that I had to watch like for myself, my assignment. So I watched Saving Private Ryan for the first time in my life, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was an incredibly moving film, very powerful. The first 27 minutes, I just like sat there with my mouth open. I was like, what? This is so realistic, like such an accurate representation of what I would imagine war to be, and I really enjoyed it. My dad was right, okay? I will put that out on the internet, which might come back to haunt me, but my dad was right. I definitely should have watched this film much, earlier in my life, although I feel like it's a very heavy topic, so I'm kind of glad that I waited. But the reason I watched it and the reason why I'm going to hell is because I turned Saving Private Ryan. I made a trailer and made it out to be a comedy film. Okay, so I'm going to hell, but on the bright side, I think I'm going to hell with a really good grade because my teacher was really impressed with it. So, silver linings. The next couple of films were both rewatches. So I rewatched Zootopia, which is the Disney film about the animal city. I adore this film, I still do. 5 out of 5 stars from me still. I did a full movie review of this one back when it first came out, which I'll leave linked in the description box below if you're interested to hear more of my full thoughts about it. And then I also rewatched Tangled, which also got 5 out of 5 stars from me. Tangled is just such a good film. I love the character of Flynn Rider. I love him so much that like one of my characters in my novel is kind of a little bit based on him. Like they share the same name at least. So I love him. I love the movie. It's so much fun and the songs are just so memorable and I love everything about that movie. I then went and saw Thor Ragnarok with my dad and my friend, and oh my goodness, this movie was so good. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, which is a huge step up from the first 2 Thor movies. Obviously the first 2 Thor movies are always kind of like the weakest movies in the MCU, but not anymore, okay? Thor Ragnarok was amazing, so funny, like so comedic. I didn't know Chris Hemsworth was that funny, but like he is, and just having Loki back, because we haven't seen Loki since 2013, and that kills me a little bit because Loki is like my favorite character. So having him back and just having everyone there, and the storyline was so good, and it really tied into the whole universe thing, it's really tying into Thanos and the Infinity War, and I loved it so much. I loved everything about it, and I want it to be on DVD already so I can rewatch it like a gajillion times. Then on Halloween night, I decided to watch 2 Halloween movies, both of which are movies for 12-year-olds because I cannot handle my scary films. The first movie that I watched was R.L. Stine's Monsterville Cabinet of Souls. This film I gave a 3 out of 5 stars to. It's just a really enjoyable little movie, chock full of Disney Channel actors. I mean like chock full of them. And it's just one of those cute little ones. You don't take it too seriously. You just watch it, enjoy it, laugh a little bit, freak out a little bit because I am completely weak and just things freak me out. So that was fun. I definitely enjoyed watching that one. And then immediately afterwards I watched R.L. Stine's Mostly Ghostly Have You Seen My Girlfriend? Again, chock full of Disney Channel actors, chock full of just really lame jokes, really tame story, tame scares, tame everything, but it was scary enough for me. You know what I just realized? Normally I would start with my TV shows in a video like this, but I was just going down the list because in my list I start with movies and then go TV shows. So there were the movies that I watched, and now we're going to talk about the TV shows. God, this video is a mess. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the TV shows kind of out of order. So one TV show that I watched this month, I watched The Good Place, which was that show starring Kirsten Bell about like how she got into heaven but like she's not meant to be there. That one. It was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I watched all of season 1 and I caught up to season 2 all the way up to like where they're up to like on TV. It was really enjoyable. Like I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, but it was funny, it was unique, the story was really good. It's weird in that it's a sitcom kind of, well, it's like a half-hour comedy, but I wouldn't call it a sitcom because like it's very serialized, so you kind of like you need to watch each episode to know what's going on. But yeah, it was so much fun. I loved it. The only annoying part that I have is that I caught up right as they went on their hiatus for the holidays and they won't be back until next year, so that's kind of annoying. And then when they get back I have to watch it week by week, so a little bit annoyed at that, but you know, that's all fine. So you guys could probably guess the other TV show that I watched. I mean, like there was this huge TV show premiered on Netflix like October 27th. I don't know, you may have heard of it. Little show called Stranger Things. I figured out this month that I am really obsessed with Stranger Things. Like when I first watched the first season, I watched it ages after everybody else. I only watched it in like January this year and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun and it was like really good. Getting closer and closer to season 2 though, I started to like really get into it and realize, oh my god, no, this show is amazing. And then I rewatched season 1 to get ready for season 2 because I was like, oh, you know, it's been like 7-8 months. I'm not gonna remember everything. So I watched season 1 once. And then you know how like Netflix has a countdown? It's like rewatch series before you watch season 2. I just finished rewatching season 1 like a few hours ago, but okay. So I rewatched season 1 twice in 1 week in the lead up for season 2, and I'm not even ashamed of that. Like, I'm proud of that fact. I'm just gonna stop talking about that now, and we're gonna move on to season 2. Oh, but I should tell you, season 1 got 5 out of 5 stars for me because it was so incredible and I loved it. Everything about it is just like beautiful. Moving on to season 2 though. Season 2 did not get 5 out of 5 stars for me. It only got 4.75 stars, and I will tell you why. But first off, I just have to say, oh my god, I love this show so much. It's so good. Okay, I watched season 2. Season 2 dropped at 5:30 my time. I watched it like 5:30 at night. I started watching it around 7:30. I finished it at 3 a.m. the next morning. I couldn't stop watching. It was so good. I love it so much. The characters are so complex and well thought out. I'm so glad that we got to see everybody else's parents, because honestly, one of the only things I was saying about season 1, where were Dustin and Lucas's parents? Like, I'm sure they care, right? So we finally get to see that this season. We get to meet new characters, Max, Billy, and Bob, all of whom I really love. Well, I kind of hate Billy like a lot, but I love Max and I really love Bob. And the characters were just, it's gonna be really hard for me to get all of my thoughts out in this tiny little thing, so I'm actually planning on filming a full discussion of this season because I just have so much to talk about. The Cliff Notes version, I am in love with Steve Harrington. Everything about him in this season, even in last season I loved him, but in this season he's just so good. The story for this season just stepped it up a notch and I loved it. So good. The character interactions that we got, because we got a little bit of different character interactions, they are amazing. There's one in particular that I'm thinking of that I loved, and I just cannot wait to talk about it a little bit more with you guys. The only downside I have with this season, and the reason why it didn't get 5 out of 5 stars with me, episode 7. I understand why we had episode 7. I understand that it's really important for 11's storyline, and I understand how important it is for us to expand on the world. Obviously, we know that 11 is number 11, so there were 10 other kids before her that were experimented on, and I understand that. I understand it's important that we start exploring that, but I found the placement of episode 7 to be really poor. So for me, like binge watching it as I was, episode 6 ends on a massive cliffhanger, and then all of a sudden we are jarred out of the story to watch episode 7 where Elle goes off on her own little adventure. She goes completely out of Hawkins, and that's what she goes and does. And we see no other characters in that episode. It's just Elle and her little story. I have no problem with that. I really enjoyed it. I just thought that because it jarred me out of the story so badly, maybe it would have been better placed like before episode 6. I don't know. I found that it really jarred me out of the story. Maybe it would have been different if I hadn't binge watched it the way that I did, but it just was really, I kind of lost interest a little bit, but then like episode 8 brought it back, but yeah, just kind of jarred me a little bit and I didn't particularly love it. So there we go. Those are the 18 movies that I watched this month and the couple of TV shows. I had a really intense month. I'm hoping next month is not quite as intense. Like in November, I think so far I've only watched 1 TV show. I haven't even watched a movie yet in November, so that's good. We'll have a little bit of a quiet month because we got Nano and the end of assignments and stuff, so a little bit of a quiet month. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below if you've watched any of these movies or TV shows, and let me know what you think. I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.